Hi there, this is Åsa with a new process video. Today I'm sharing a pink layout with you, and it's two photos of my daughter in the kitchen. She is cutting peppers, I think, for perhaps a Tex-Mex meal or something like that. And on the floor is Felix, our kitten. And he loves to be where we are, and he basically just fall over on the floor and wants us to pet him. And if we haven't got the time for him, he just stays there waiting. I will be using a couple of pink papers here, and both sides. That checkered papers has roses on the other side, and I cut out a few, and I will use those as the base for my cluster. Today I will be using a new embellishing method or painting method that I've seen Irit Landgraf use, and also Nicole Jones, and it is applying paint onto a piece of plastic packaging and then rubbing it off onto the paper, creating a really cool effect. And it's also very random, and you don't get any marks from a paintbrush or anything like that. It's just is smooth, shall I say, edges, nothing that you really can control, but the effect is stunning. And I have in this case used two different colors from my Neo 2 crayons, and I just made a mess on the background. The background paper is a white piece of cardstock that I have primed with gesso, one layer of gesso. Now, while the background is drying, I will mount my photos onto the photo block with some layering of these different pieces of pattern papers. You see small hands helping me there. It's my daughter, who have been following me in my scrap room or my scrap corner during the day. It's been really nice, and you will see more of her in my coming videos. So this is the base for my layout. Now I will start building my clusters with those roses, and I will use 3 different spots around the photos, and I will later add some more embellishments to make it a finished layout. I will first adhere the roses with my double-sided tape, but I will afterwards come back with foam dots to give it a bit more dimension. Of course, I would have used the foam dots in the first place, but I didn't think of that, so I had to go back and fix that. I think that this detail cutting, when cutting out, for example, flowers from a background paper, is really a nice technique to get lots of dimension on a page. And I realized when I cut out these roses that they were actually only 2 or 3 different kinds, and they were just turned in different ways and placed randomly or around the paper, so that it looked like it was a lot of different rose patterns. But I think I managed to turn them and make them look like they are individuals and not copies of the same. But if you look closely, you can see that the small rose at the top is the same rose that is on the right in the lower right cluster. But I hope that you don't think about this as much when you see the layout in the album. I pick out a fabric patch that I bought from, I think it was Freckled Fawn, when they had some kind of a sale a while back. And then I bring out some acetate embellishments that I'll be using on this layout, since it had just a perfect pink color to fit this color scheme. I will use a small tab and an arrow-like embellishment that says Forever Friends, or Will Be Friends Forever, or something like that. And that item that I'm placing there is a large tag with diagonal stripes in the really soft and nice pink color. Here is a small envelope. I think that I've got it for free in some of my in one of my orders from China as a gift, and it's a small envelope. It had a green lining, so I thought at first that I would keep it open or have it open on the page, but the green didn't fit, so I closed the envelope, but you can still see it's an envelope because of the foldings. And it will be part of the top cluster. And I'm adhering it to the page with some double-sided tape, my go-to adhesive for paper. I was fiddling around a bit with all the different elements because it was a bit hard to glue them onto the page, since I had been very thorough when I glued down the photo block. I hadn't left much space for tucking other papers underneath. Then I brought out a really old package of thickers. It's flock kind of velvet thickers from a while back, and I managed to spell Kitchen Company, and I didn't need to be that creative with the letters. I think that the N is a U, and I think perhaps that's the only thing that I've changed up. The A is some other letter, perhaps a D, that I just cut off. So this was a nice way to use up that font, or I have still a couple of numbers left, but this was a long title for such a used up alpha. So this will be the title of my page, and now you see my daughter is helping me to glue my bows onto the page. I used embroidery floss in 3 different colors. I will show them shortly, and I tied some bows, 3, 1 for each cluster. I have my embroidery floss together with my baker's twine in a large glass jar on my desk, and they are all up on pins or clothes pegs, and it is a real inspirational or creatively inspiring jar to have on the desk and look at, because I have a good selection of colors, and it's easy to see the ones I have and choose the right ones for my project. So that's a dear thing on my desk. I will use a pink stamp pad from Stampin' Up! And a roller stamp to stamp together, hashtag together, all around the page in a couple of different spots. And then I have some rhinestone stickers that I got from a dear friend in Holland, and I used them in groups of 3. They have 3 different sizes, and it's light pink, so it fit this layout perfectly. You also see on this part of the film that I've added a couple of die cuts tucked under the photo block, like those happy camera snap and the label in pink. I thought they added some really nice grounding for the photo block. And I will also use a couple of paper butterflies from Prima, just to give this floral clustering some movement and just fill the whole page with more interest. So this is the finished layout, and here are some still photos of all of it. And here you can see that the lines from the gesso are visible when I have this Neo Color 2 and water spread on top of it. It looks really nice, I must say. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you for all your sweet comments. I just love to read them. This is Åsa. Bye!